You ever find a film that just means the world to you, but you can't quite pinpoint why at first? I think most people know the feeling of finding a piece of art and being enamored by it for one reason or another, even if you don't fully understand why on a first viewing. I've gotten this feeling many times by many different films, but one little subgenre of movies that end up frequently resonating with me are those that accurately portray a small town vibe. Whereas a lot of films set their characters on an adventure, placing them in unique settings, putting them against all odds bigger than anything we would know just to wrap up nicely into a third act, there are also films that aim to look at the slower parts of life and place that same kind of attention on those types of stories. There are all kinds of small-town films that follow a more slice-of-life type of structure, and don't focus on an overdramatic plot, but rather are about the people just existing through their day-to-day lives. The characters in these films often don't look for too much, and that makes them seem very human. Some of these films feel like they could be about people you know in real life. I could talk about any one of these films today, but the one I'd like to highlight that most people haven't seen is the 1986 film True Stories, directed by Talking Heads frontman David Byrne. True Stories is a film about the fictional town of Virgil, Texas, and the week leading up to their 150th anniversary celebration.
This is Virgil, Texas. Their celebration's gonna happen this Friday. They're gonna have a parade that runs down the main street in the morning. And then, outside of town, that night, they're gonna have a talent show.
And that's really about it. The Wikipedia plot synopsis isn't even a real synopsis as much as it is just a list of the characters. The film's closest thing to an overarching story is John Goodman's character trying to find love and building himself up to the talent show. Rather than placing the emphasis on plot, the focus is rather on the characters, the town itself, and the music as the real focus of the film. Some of these characters, by the way, consist of an unnamed narrator and tour guide played by David Byrne in a cowboy hat, Louis Fine, a self-proclaimed dancing fool, a burly but kind man who spends his days looking for love, portrayed by John Goodman.
Hello, I'm Louis Fine, and I'm looking for matrimony with a capital M.
Someone simply named the Lying Woman, who will tell obvious lies to make herself seem more special or significant than she really is.
Oh, no, I know nothing, Your Honor. They want me to speak on 60 Minutes. Mike Wallace wants my body. I don't tell a soul. Well, they gave me so much money. What could I do?
And Miss Rollins, a woman who never gets out of bed. She's not sick. She's got enough money. She doesn't have to.
Hey, wouldn't you?
These characters really don't do too much, and nobody has any agency in the story. We just kind of run into these people like they're locals of the town, and we see what they're like for a little while.
Hey, there's Louis. Hi.
Hey,
how you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Did you have any luck at the club the other night?
So why am I talking about this movie? What makes this bizarre, satirical musical with no real story any special? I think what makes this film special is the specific way it portrays the characters and the town itself. David Byrne has said in an interview that Virgil, Texas is a fictional place reflecting thousands of real, medium to small-sized towns all over America, and I think our little home in the middle of Kansas fits that list perfectly. It's the type of place where the things people look forward to are get-togethers such as parades, small events, or even weekly gatherings like seeing friends at a club or going to church.
Do you run out of Kleenex, paper towels, and toilet paper at the same time? You know it's true. It's all true.
This idea is really cemented early in the film when we go to a karaoke club and the characters and background actors all take turns going on stage to sing the first song together. When you get to the end of the film, the grand finale isn't some sweeping dramatic moment, but instead everyone in town goes to this big talent show at the end of the week and John Goodman sings a song.
We don't want justice,
just want someone to love.
The production design is also doing a lot of heavy lifting to make Virgil feel like a real place. Everybody's dressed like they were pulled right out of an 80s Sears catalog. Many of the townsfolk extras are actual Texas locals who are picked off the street rather than traditionally casted, many of whom reappear throughout the film if you're privy enough of a viewer to notice. Another aspect of this film that feels authentic are the parade and talent show at the end of the film, because they actually are authentic. To film these scenes, they actually hosted a real parade and talent show, highlighting some local people of Texas. The dancers in the talent show, the old guys in fezzes driving the tiny Mustangs, and the kids who do a comedy skit were all real local groups and talents that they scouted for the finale of the film. Ed Lockman's cinematography also does an incredible job. Every shot of the landscape is completely flat, with no hills in sight, and many spots in town look like they're just barely hanging on the edge of the middle of nowhere. The film is as much a celebration and homage of these small towns as it is a satire lampooning and making fun of the people who inhabit these types of places. If you enjoy strange, independent movies or are a fan of the Talking Heads music, True Stories is a film I could easily recommend. It's those places that are just barely off the map and occasionally forgotten about that many of us in America call home that True Stories is really about.